Grüß Gott und guten Morgen, meine Damen und Herren in Österreich. Guten Nachmittag, wenn Sie unser Webinar hier in Japan mitverfolgen. Mein Name ist Ingo Maloch-Schmidt. Ich bin Wirtschaftsdelegierter in Tokio. Ich leite also das österreichische Außenwirtschaftscenter für Japan. Bei diesem heutigen Webinar werde ich mich auf diese kurze Begrüßung beschränken. Den eigentlichen Inhalt wird unsere Frau Rume Onodera liefern. Sie ist an unserem Außenwirtschaftscenter hauptsächlich für Technologieagenten zuständig. Und sie bereitet auch heuer schon das zweite Mal eine Zukunftsreise zum so pertinenten Thema Wasserstofftechnologie vor. Diesmal im Cyberspace. Zu dieser virtuellen Reise, die nach Korea und nach Japan führen wird, Anfang März, also schon demnächst, sind etliche von Ihnen ja sicherlich bereits angemeldet. Und wenn nicht, können Sie das noch immer tun. Letztes Jahr war das ja nicht möglich, weil innerhalb von ganz wenigen Tagen waren wir hoffnungslos überbucht. Aber im Cyberspace haben wir glücklicherweise ein bisschen mehr Platz als persönlich vor Ort in einem Besprechungszimmer irgendwo bei einer Firma, die wir besuchen. Ich bin sicher, Sie werden heute einen Vorgeschmack bekommen, einen Booster bekommen, dann in der ersten Märzwoche mit unseren Experten, nicht nur in Japan, auch in Korea, die neuesten Technologien und Ansatzpunkte für die Verwendung von Brennstoffzellen und Wasserstofftechnologie zu erkunden. Aber dazu lädt Sie Frau Onodera später noch selber ein. Wir haben heute aber auch einen wirklichen Fachmann für Brennstoffzellen und verwandte Technologien bei uns als Referenten dabei. Das ist Dr. Akiteru Maruta. Der wird uns auch auf unserer Reise im März begleiten. Und einige von Ihnen kennen ihn ja wahrscheinlich auch schon vom letzten Jahr, als wir auch schon mit ihm bei dieser Reise zusammengetroffen sind. Sein Hauptvortrag heute wird auf Englisch sein, Frau Onodera wird auf Deutsch sprechen. Ja, und damit gehen wir in Medias Res und liebe Lume, ich darf dir gleich übergeben.
Ja, danke schön für die Vorstellung. Mein Name ist Lumi Onodera. Ich bin jetzt seit 1,5 Jahren in Tokio für die Technologieagenten zuständig. Heute, sehr spannend, haben wir Wasserstoff als Thema. Und hier ist auch schon die Übersicht. Wir haben schon die Begrüßung von Herrn Doschmidt gehabt. Ich werde wirklich ganz kurz einen Überblick über den Wasserstoffalltag in Japan, in Tokio, zeigen mit ein paar Bildern, mit Impressionen. Dadurch, dass wir nicht nach Japan reisen können, derzeit möchte ich Ihnen einfach zeigen, was erfährt ein normaler Japaner oder Japanerin im Alltag über Wasserstoff in Japan. Dann haben wir natürlich unser Hauptvortrag von Herrn Dr. Maruta und anschließend werde ich Ihnen kurz Programmpunkte zeigen, die wir bei der Zukunftsreise, bei der virtuellen Zukunftsreise zeigen werden. Ja, anschließend haben wir dann noch eine Q&A und da hoffe ich, dass wir schöne, gute Fragen von Ihnen bekommen werden. Gut. Ja, der Alltag, der japanische Alltag mit Wasserstoff. Ich habe Ihnen verschiedene Impressionen zusammengestellt. Da geht es um Bildung, um Mobility, die Minikraftwerke, die NF-Hubs, die in den Häusern jetzt auch zur Verfügung stehen, Veranstaltungen, Wasserstoffthemen in den Veranstaltungen und TV-Spots, die aktuell derzeit im Fernsehen laufen. Hier waren wir bei der letzten Wasserstoff-Zukunftsreise auch dabei, beim Hydrogen Museum. Hier wird auf die Bildung gesetzt. Die Kinder, Schüler können dieses Museum besuchen. Hellblaue Maskottchen erzählen den Schülern oder den Kindern, aber auch Erwachsenen, wie funktioniert Wasserstoff überhaupt. Und typisch für Japan natürlich, dass es mit diesen süßen Maskottchen oder mit diesen Anime-Figuren dann auch erklärt wird. Hier Mobility im Alltag in Tokio, wenn man durch die Straßen geht, sieht man immer mehr die Wasserstoffbusse. Also letztes Jahr war das erst nur eine Strecke. Wir sind damals auch mit der Zukunftsreise mit dem Wasserstoffbus gefahren, aber jetzt sieht man sie schon überall in der Stadt herumfahren. Weniger die Wasserstoffautos, aber doch auch immer mehr die Stations, die Wasserstoffstations von Iwatani zum Beispiel hier auf dem Foto. Das ist jetzt so ein Vorzeige, auf dem Bild ein Vorzeige Wasserstoffstation direkt vor dem Tokyo Tower, sehr schön gelegen auch. Ja, in den Haushalten, hier steigt die Zahl enorm. Wir haben jetzt schon fast 380.000 Haushalte, die die NF-Farms, diese Mini-Wasserstoffkraftwerke in den Häusern bei sich zu Hause haben. Alle Details, besser, also noch genauere Zahlen und Figuren bekommen Sie dann von Herrn Dr. Maruta später nochmal erklärt. Hier sind jetzt wirklich nur kurze Bilder zu den einzelnen Themen. Ja, die große Frage, wird Olympia stattfinden oder nicht? Derzeit können wir das nicht beantworten, aber Olympia steht immer noch unter dem Zeichen von Wasserstoff. Bei der ersten Olympiade in Tokio war es der Hochgeschwindigkeitszug der Shinkansen und bei dieser Olympiade steht Wasserstoff als Thema da, mit verschiedenen Schwerpunkten, natürlich wieder die Busse, die FC-Busse, dann soll eben auch das olympische Feuer mit Wasserstoff brennen. Das olympische Dorf soll nach der Olympiade als Hydrogen Town aufgebaut werden. Unten sehen Sie also mit den Pipelines und auch die einzelnen Wohnungen sollen eben mit dem Wasserstoff betrieben werden. Ja, unten auch ein interessantes Event. Vor Weihnachten wurde die Beleuchtung von den Weihnachtsbäumen durch einen Honda FC-Auto betrieben und die Energie kam von diesem Auto. Also es werden sehr viele Promotion-Events auch in Japan veranstaltet, damit man eben auch die Bevölkerung mitnimmt. Ja, ich möchte Ihnen jetzt 2 TV-Clips zeigen, die aktuell jetzt im Fernsehen laufen. Hier sieht man den Enegodi-kun, das ist ein Gorilla-Maskottchen von der Firma Eneos, der quasi in der Schuluniform da sitzt und sagt, was ist jetzt Wasserstoff? Und das wird in dem Clip erklärt. So, ich hoffe, dass es mit dem Ton auch gut klappt. So, Enegodi, weißt du, was Wasserstoff ist? Das bedeutet eben die Zukunft mit grüner Energie, ohne Abgase, ohne CO2-Ausstoß. Und man kann da zum Beispiel Autos fahren lassen und man bekommt Energie. Enegodi sagt, kann man damit auch Bananen erstellen? Er sagt, nein, das geht wohl nicht, aber die Zukunft ist Wasserstoff. Eneos. Hier der zweite Clip, Toyota Mirai, Second Generation, darüber werden wir später auch von Dr. Maruta mehr erfahren. Ich meine, die Toyota Mirai, die Stückzahlen, die Verkaufszahlen sind immer noch sehr, sehr niedrig, aber trotzdem läuft hier ein Clip. Also Wasserstoff ist einfach auch ein Image, Vorzeigeprojekt für viele Firmen und natürlich für Toyota. Mit Wasser, das Thema Wasser kommt hier natürlich im Vordergrund. Bohren aus Wasser und wieder zurück zu Wasser. Die Zukunft wird bewegt mit Mirai. Das Auto heißt Mirai, übersetzt Zukunft. Aus der Zukunft. Ja, danke schön. Dann möchte ich schon übergehen auf unseren Vortrag von Dr. Maruta. Er ist der Group Manager, ich werde jetzt auf Englisch wechseln. Er ist, ich werde noch mal kurz auf mein Screen gehen, einen Moment. Er ist der Group Manager von Technova, Firma Technova. Firma Technova ist die Stakeholder, also die Hauptaktionäre von Technova sind Aishin und Toyota selber. Also sie sind und Aishin gehört auch der Toyota-Gruppe an. Sie sind ein Think Tank für die Regierung, für viele sie sind das Think Tank für Wasserstoffprojekte bei Unternehmen und in der Industrie, für die Regierung auch. Und er ist auch ein Member von der International Partnership for Hydrogen and Fuel Cell in the Economy seit 2005. Also wir haben wirklich das Glück, dass wir ihn als Kurator für die Zukunftsreise gewonnen haben und dass er heute für uns spricht. Also besser geht es einfach nicht. Und so sorry, Dr. Maruta, I wanted to introduce you in English, but I started in German. So thank you very much that you are our speaker today. So the stage is yours.
Thank you, Rumi. Thank you very much for the kind introduction. My name is Akiteru Maruta, Technova, and as Rumi introduced me, I've been working for the industry, hydrogen fuel cell industry, for more than 20 years. So first, thank you very much for the opportunity. For the next 30 minutes, I try to provide some highlights or update of Japan's hydrogen program. So I'm sharing my screen, right? Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. Okay. So Technova, already Rumi explained about my company. Technova is a technology consultant based in Tokyo. And our stakeholder is Aishin, which is working for the fuel cell, residential fuel cell, everybody knows NFARM, SOFC, and also Toyota. But also we are closely working with the Japanese government and the local government. Sometimes the auto companies, which is a competitor of the Toyota, but also, which means that we are widely working with industries. And I myself very much involved in the hydrogen program in Japan. So today I'm going to talk about some updates of the Japan's policy, fuel cell vehicles. Of course, I'm going to mention about the Mirai and the hydrogen supply chain, liquid hydrogen, LOHC, and ammonia, and the hydrogen stations and the industry activities. First, before I go into the updates, I'm going to review our achievement by 2020. So this is Japan's basic hydrogen strategy, which was released almost 3 years ago. And it has a target for 2020 and also 2030, and also the future, which means 2050. And anyway, so we usually, in Japanese government, we usually say basic hydrogen plan, basic energy plan. If something basic, which means a really fundamental, very important document, which means that Japanese government said we are the first country which developed the hydrogen strategy, national hydrogen strategy in the world. But anyway, so the hydrogen plan, the hydrogen strategy now has several targets for 2020. Now you see, now I'm going to put today's number like this. This is the number for as of this December. So first one is a fuel cell CHP, which is the NFARM. Of course, we had a very high target, like 1.4 million units. Now we achieved 33,000 to 34,000 units. So we could not achieve the target because the target is very high. And also you can see 2030, our target is 5.3 million units. Of course, we understand that this is a very high target. Maybe we cannot achieve this, but government try to keep this target as a very high, our target for the leapfrog. On the hydrogen stations, our target was 160. Now we have the 162, which means that we achieved the target. Fuel cell vehicles and the government target is 40,000 cars. Now we have the 4,000 cars. It's just 1/10, because today, actually we only have one manufacturer, Toyota. But anyway, so people are questioning about the 2030 target, like 800,000. But we will see. Buses, we achieved the target. Now we have the 100 buses on the road because this is basically meant for the Olympic game 2020. Of course, unfortunately, it is postponed to the next year, this year probably. And so for that purpose, we achieved the target of the 100. On the fuel cell forklift, target is 5,000, and we are just in the middle, 2050. So we could not achieve the target. But we currently have one manufacturer, but we may have some more manufacturers coming into this field. So we can have more good numbers toward 2030. So that's the short review of our achievement. And now updates. First, policy updates. Now we have the Prime Minister Suga, and he actually announced in this October 26th in the Diet Parliament. So he clearly said we're going to achieve the zero carbon society. We're going to make the zero carbon society 2050. So in order to achieve, this is actually good big change for our policy. But we have not, Japan have not really announced the zero carbon policy until then, by them. So this is a big announcement. So the government was really, I think the government people really had a very busy time to have a new policy. But now we have the green growth strategy, which was announced, released just Christmas Day, 25th of December. So I'm going to explain about the green growth strategy now. But in this spring and in this summer, we are going to have the two more important documents. One is the revised version of the basic hydrogen strategy, and also hydrogen roadmap. And in summer, we're going to have the basic energy plan. That's a really national one. So hydrogen, I'm sure hydrogen is one of the very key element of our national energy policy. So we're going to have the big documents. We're going to have the big document in this spring and the summer. But in the meantime, government just had a green growth strategy. So I'm going to explain this. First, I'm going to show some picture later, but so the moment I am going to show some of the extract, some of the essence of the green growth strategy. It's a big document. Actually, it covers everything, mobility and power generations and society. It covers everything. And I just pick up the number from the hydrogen section. So hydrogen section, the hydrogen cost, it is actually not changed. These numbers have not changed. 2030, we are aiming to have a 30 M per cubic meter, normal cubic meters, and 2050, it's going to be at 20 M. Hydrogen demand, I'm going to explain a little bit in detail later, but we have the new number for the hydrogen demand. By 2030, the hydrogen demand, annual hydrogen demand, going to be 3 million tons. And by 2050, it's going to be 20 million tons per year. And this number, actually 2030 number, to 3 million tons per year, it's including, it's not only hydrogen, it's also including the ammonia applications. Actually, government did not say how much is for hydrogen, how much for the ammonia, but I'm sure large portion is going to be hydrogen. And among this number, government say we're going to have the clean hydrogen. In your term, green or blue hydrogen. So amount going to be 420,000 tons per year. this number is actually equal to the German number. So our government says we're going to have the more clean hydrogen than Germany. And so you can see the bottom, we have there's some target for the supply chain. So government assumes by 2050, maybe 1/10 of the global hydrogen demand will be traded internationally, which means so hydrogen supply, hydrogen international trading, or hydrogen international delivery supply chain is become very, very important. So Japanese government say we're going to commercialize such hydrogen chain by 2030. And the target also we have that cost target. It's a 30 yen per normal cubic meters. That's actually same. We have not changed this number, but our government has committed that we're going to have the commercial supply chain by 2030. Now it's a fancy and very busy slide, so I will explain about the one by one. So this is the image of the green growth strategy, and you can guess the blue line is the hydrogen, and the orange line is electricity. So it's all in Japanese at this moment. So I put English like this. So government say hydrogen is a key technology for power generation, industry, and mobility. That's the number one. That's a key message. Left side, this is the hydrogen production side. We're gonna make the hydrogen using the offshore wind or photovoltaic, and of course we apply the high electrolyzer technology, and some hydrogen is produced in outside Japan, so we need a hydrogen carrier. And such hydrogen come to Japan, and it starts the hydrogen tank. Also, this hydrogen is used for the steel making and the hydrogen power generations. Also, if I go to the right side, such hydrogen is also used for the chemical plant or converted to the methanol for the methanol or other form like methane. So hydrogen can be used for the chemical substance. In the top, we see the hydrogen aircraft. Of course, Airbus and company like Airbus and Boeing is now working for very seriously working for the hydrogen carrier, hydrogen aircraft. Of course, on our side, of course, we need to have the hydrogen facility in the airport. So we should working for the we should really working for this, and of course the government also thinking about the hydrification of the airport. On downside, we have another applications of the hydrogen. That's a more conventional one. Hydrogen stations and fuel cell vehicles, and the hydrogen buses, trains, and trucks. So mobility. So mobility is also still very important part of the hydrogen applications. Maybe you do not have a slide in your downloaded file. I added last minute. Oh, actually, so as I said, we had a basic hydrogen strategy 3 years ago. Now government put a new number like this. So 2030, so it used to be the hydrogen volume, hydrogen demand was 300,000 tons per year. Now it's gonna be 3 million. But actually among 3 million, 2 million is already existing demand. So new demand is actually 1 million, which means so government old target was 300,000 tons. Now new target is 1 million. 2050, all the targets was, let's see, oh, okay. So actually, so 2050 government that doubled the target for this. But so, which means that in order to achieve the zero carbon society, the zero emission society toward 2050, definitely we need a clean, which means a green, blue, hydrogen. So government, this is the government message. We need to increase the hydrogen volume, especially for the clean, green hydrogen. So that's the policy, new policy update, And the Mirai, I'm going to talk about the Mirai now. So this is the new Mirai. I will know this. So it looks bigger, looks more stylish, and actually it looks really cool. If I compare old and new, it goes like this. So now new Mirai, it takes 5 people, and the distance driving range is actually 30% more, which is 850 kilometers per charging, per refueling. And the fuel cell stack has a more power, like 128 kilowatts. And the power density is also increased, dramatically increased from the old one. And the hydrogen tank, it has more hydrogen. The old one has a 4.6 kilogram, and the new one has a 5.6 kilogram. So with this, so new Mirai is now compared to the old one, really, you know, like a conventional car, like conventional ICEs. And if I'm talking about the price, actually it's become a little bit pricey because of the government reduced the subsidy. So for consumers, so new Mirai is a little bit pricey right now, but this is only for the national government subsidies, and with this local government also have the subsidy program, which means so some local municipalities for local regions you can get Mirai at a reasonable price. So if I also compare the structure, the old one has 2 tanks. Now new Mirai has 3 tanks. 1 tank is actually in the middle because now Mirai's high fuel cell stack become really small. That means that so they could install this stack in the front, which means so now the long hydrogen tank can be installed for the bottom. That's why so the new Mirai has a large hydrogen volume like a 5.6 kilogram. Also, fuel cell stack, it has a become a high energy density, high power density. Now compared to the new old one, so it has a 10% or 20% more power. And one reason is now fuel cell stack is becoming really thinner, which used to be the thickness is 1.3 millimeters. Now it is 1.1 meters. So cell itself become very simpler, and also become very smaller. So these are technologies. Now I will be talking about the interior, the compartment. So right hand side, this is the new Mirai. It looks same, but actually this is a large image of the inside of the new Mirai. Now you can see in the rear sheet, back sheet, in the middle, you can see some structure. This is the hydrogen tank, which means it takes this Mirai said, or Toyota said, no, new Mirai takes 5 people. Okay, a fifth person should be a really small guy, like child. But anyway, so this Mirai is have a longer range and also have the high performance. Of course, interior side we need some, not like a conventional car, like a conventional car with 5 persons, but still it's a good car. I had enjoy. I drive once actually, and actually well developed the fuel cell vehicles. Now I'm moving to the hydrogen supply chain. So everybody knows we are going to have the hydrogen. We are trying to develop the international hydrogen chain, hydrogen supply chain. One is liquid hydrogen. One is LOHC, organic hydrolytes, and another is ammonia. So I'm gonna explain one by one. First, liquid hydrogen. So everybody knows we already have the liquid hydrogen carrier developed by Kawasaki Heavy Industry. Now, in the city of Kobe, which is very close to Osaka, and they developed the hydrogen receiving facility. You can see the picture in the bottom. And the facility has a loading arm, which is actually unload the liquid hydrogen from ship, and a hydrogen tank. And so this is the kind of the base for the liquid hydrogen to supply this liquid, in order to supply this liquid hydrogen to the regions. It is located inside Kobe Airport island. This is just a picture, but last week I've been to this airport. Actually, I took the picture like this. So actually, this is already developed. So they already have the hydrogen tank, and they already have the loading arm, and they already have the hydrogen ship. And this February and March is actually Kawasaki going to have the first journey to the Australia to carry a liquid hydrogen. So in order to see the how much is the boil off gas, how much is the efficiency, and they're going to take all the data. So but anyway, they're going to have the first voyage to the Australia with the liquid hydrogen. Another one is the LOHC, liquid organic hydrogen carrier. So this is led by another company, Chiyoda. Chiyoda already installed this facility in Japan side in Kawasaki, and for hydrogen production side in Brunei, country Brunei. So Japan side, they have developed the receiving facility in city of Kawasaki, which is very close to Tokyo. And so they already have a journey to the between the Brunei and Japan. So actually, so in this virtual tour in this March, Chiyoda people and as well as the Kawasaki people going to explain about their activities for the supply chain. So you can see they're gonna explain about okay, this is a exporting facility in Brunei side and the receiving facility in the Japan side. And so if you're going to join the virtual the tour, Java program to Japan and Korea program in this March. So Chiyoda people going to explain about this hydrogen facility using the virtual reality system on the web. So another one is actually ammonia. Ammonia supply chains are becoming hot and hot. And we are going to have 2020, we started a small demonstration from between Saudi Arabia and Japan. Actually, so a small amount of the ammonia coming to Japan for the combustion, for the power, basically to register emission from the coal gas fire plant. But in the future, we are thinking that we're going to have 100% ammonia power generation. So in the future, maybe we're going to have a 3 or 5 million ton per year of the ammonia for the power generation. So this is not exactly hydrogen applications, but also we are going ammonia side. Of course, definitely in the clean green hydrogen, and this hydrogen will be converted to ammonia and converted and used for the power generation for the zero emission electricity. For some update about the Japan hydrogen stations. As I said, we achieved the target 2060, 160. Now we have the 162 hydrogen stations. Now it's becoming almost covering all entire Japan. But we still have some regions which are not have hydrogen stations. That's the next target. In order to do that, like Europe, we established the Japan's H2 mobility. We say JHIME. So JHIME is a public-private partnership with companies like Toyota, Nissan, Honda, and energy suppliers, and funded also working with financial sector. In the bottom, you can see the some numbers like 2020. The target number was 160, and we have achieved this target. The next target is 320 by 2025 in 5 years. So we need to double this number of the hydrogen stations. It's a big number. So in order to do that, the government is now thinking the new program, new subsidy program for the hydrogen stations. We will see. And one topic about the hydrogen station is now we have the very small hydrogen station like this. This is developed by Air Liquide Japan. It is a very small compact hydrogen stations. It's also it's 70 megapascal hydrogen stations. Every system is on the roof, and so it can be well fit for the large cities like Tokyo, Osaka. This is actually in Kobe, but so I'm sure in the future, of course, we may going to have such a small compact hydrogen stations. Otherwise, we cannot achieve our big number like 320. Lastly, I'm going to explain about our industry activities, JH2A. JH2A, Japan Hydrogen Association, is just established. This is more like a Hydrogen Europe or Hydrogen European Alliance. So in order to promote hydrogen, especially for the green hydrogen, and in order to boost the demand of the hydrogen, so many companies working together to increase the hydrogen demand, and develop the hydrogen supply chain in Japan. Now, in the bottom, you can see the number. We have 88 companies so far. So this is a logo of the companies. Of course, you know you are familiar with some companies. You are not. Actually, I've been in this hydrogen industry for the 20 years, but I see a lot of the companies which I have not known in this community. which means so today hydrogen is a very hot issue, and people understand we definitely need hydrogen in order to achieve the zero emission, zero carbon society. That means that so many many companies are very much interested in the hydrogen, and these companies are now joining this hydrogen associations. They're going to make the roadmap, and they're going to make the recommendation to the government, and we are waiting their recommendations to the which is coming up maybe this March. So summary. So I quickly summarize it, my presentation. So if I review our target 2020, some are achieved, some are not. But well, we're gonna say we are in almost the right track to achieve the 2020 target and toward 2030. And the policy update, green growth strategy. Now government clearly say hydrogen is a very important part of the zero emission society. And fuel cell vehicles, I explained about the new Mirai. New Mirai has more hydrogen and more good performance and long distance. Hydrogen supply chain, we are on track on the hydrogen supply chain. And the government says we're going to commercialize hydrogen supply chain by 2030. Definitely we are on track. And hydrogen then stations, now we achieved the target, 2020 target, which is a 160. Now we have a 162, but next target is also very high, 320 by 2025 in 5 years. And the industry update, I just explained about the Japan Hydrogen Alliance associations. So many companies are interested in the hydrogen and also committed to the hydrogen. So I'm sure so this year 2021, also the 2025, it's a very exciting year for the hydrogen, also for Japan. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maruta. This was very interesting and a good overview to understand the situation in Japan. I want to present now the program for our journey. I will switch to German for this. Ja, also wir haben unseren Kurator für die Zukunftsreise kennengelernt und ich möchte Ihnen jetzt auch das Programm für die Zukunftsreise kurz vorstellen. Ich hoffe, man sieht mein Screen. Okay. Ja, die Zukunftsreise leider wird dieses Jahr im Cyberspace stattfinden, aber wir haben uns verschiedene Sachen überlegt, wie wir das trotzdem sehr spannend gestalten und ja, mit viel Beteiligung, mit viel Live-Auftritten. Und die Reise findet vom 1. bis 5. März statt. Der erste Teil wird in Japan sein und der zweite Teil in Korea. Ja, Herr Maruta hat uns schon gesagt, wie wichtig die Lieferkette für Wasserstoff ist. Deswegen haben wir diesmal auch den Schwerpunkt auf die Lieferkette gesetzt. Wir werden Kawasaki, also einen Termin bei Kawasaki Juko haben, Kawasaki also Heavy Industries, die ja das erste Wasserstofftanker gebaut haben. Dann Chiyoda Corporation hat Maruta auch schon gesagt, werden wir spannend eine Führung in Brunei und in Japan haben. Da ist auch eben wichtig zu sehen, wo wird der Wasserstoff produziert, wo und wie wird er transportiert. Dann werden wir einen Termin bei Toyota haben. Hier wird, Herr Maruta hat uns schon sehr viel über den neuen Mirai vorgestellt. Ich hoffe aber auch sehr, dass Toyota uns auch über die Woven City ein bisschen erzählen wird. Woven City wird den Spatenstich anscheinend diesen Februar, Ende Februar haben. Also eine Stadt, eine Stadt der Zukunft, wo sehr viel ausprobiert werden kann, Automotive Driving, aber eben auch sehr viel mit Wasserstoff wird dort geplant. Hier steht noch auf dem Bild Ready in 2021, aber sich nicht vorstellen kann, dass die Stadt bis dahin aufgebaut wird. Aber was auch gesagt wird, Woven City wird nie fertig sein, weil diese Stadt ist eine Stadt, wo man immer wieder neue Technologien ausprobieren kann, wo viele Firmen eingeladen werden, um neue Technologien auszuprobieren. Und wie gesagt, hier wird sehr viel mit Wasserstoff dann auch gearbeitet. Also ich hoffe sehr, dass Toyota uns da auch ein bisschen neue Einblicke gibt und davon erzählt, aber auch andere Wasserstoffstrategien von Toyota. Ja, dann werden wir auch in die Forschung gehen. Wir werden einen Vortrag von Herrn Professor Kazunori Sasaki haben. Er hat das Buch Hydrogen Energy Engineering geschrieben mit weiteren Autoren, und er ist von der Universität Kyushu, wo sehr viel auch über Wasserstoff geforscht wird. Ja, die FC Expo wird dieses Jahr virtuell, aber auch on-site stattfinden. In Japan finden viele Messen tatsächlich statt. Ich habe auch in den letzten Tagen einige Messen besucht. Natürlich sind Besucherzahlen weniger. Es ist auch vieles in den virtuellen Raum verlegt worden. Aber wir werden mit Herrn Maruta dort sein und live von der Messe berichten, einige Messestände besuchen, Aussteller interviewen und live davon berichten. Und ich hoffe, dass Sie dann auch dabei sind. Wir planen ein virtuelles Netzwerken. Ja, die einzigartige Möglichkeit, dass wir koreanische und japanische und österreichische Experten und Sie hoffentlich auch in einen Raum bringen. Wir werden eine Podiumdiskussion haben mit dem Thema Grey, Blue oder Green Hydrogen. Es gibt ja verschiedene Strategien. Europa möchte komplett auf Green gehen. Japan hat einen Zwischenweg gewählt, damit man eben auch schneller in die Umsetzung reinkommt und dann auch schneller billiger wird. Und über dieses Thema hoffe ich, eine hitzige Diskussion auf dem Podium zu haben. Und ja, also Teilnehmer, die bei diesem Netzwerk dabei sein werden, werden vorab ein Goodie geschenkt bekommen mit österreichischem Bier oder japanischem Bier. Und ja, wir können dann in dem Raum Remo, das wirklich sehr, sehr einfach zu bedienen ist, und Netzwerken. Jeder Tisch, wenn Sie sich an einen Tisch setzen, können Sie sofort ein Gespräch starten mit den Leuten, die am gleichen Tisch sitzen, und eben auf dem Podium, wenn jemand redet, können dann alle Teilnehmer zuhören. Ja, die Wasserstoffzugriffsreise, Sie können sich immer noch anmelden, auch bis kurz vor dem Termin, und Details und Anmeldung finden Sie hier. Und ja, Sie sehen hier noch einen Link, den werden wir auch dann, einen Link für ein Video von der letzten Zukunftsreise im Februar letztes Jahres, wo wir noch die Teilnehmer hier in Japan begrüßen durften. Und dieses Video wird dann anschließend auch hier ausgestrahlt. Ja, und jetzt haben Sie die Möglichkeit, Q&A, also Ihre Fragen zu stellen, und Herr Maruta und ich können gerne antworten.
Ja, recht schönen Dank, Lume Madeira. Thank you very much, Dr. Maruta. Excellent presentation, which we've seen here, and we've got many questions here already. Those of you from our audience who did not type in their questions yet, you still can do so in the in this questions app that you have here. I also put in the chat for you again the all the information where you can download later all these slides still, and you will also receive it in an email. But let's go to the first questions. Actually, I put them together a bit because quite a few are circling around the same topic. We have one topic which goes exactly to the sourcing of hydrogen. Questions like where does Japan source its hydrogen from? Well, you've explained this a bit later already. Some of the supply chains. We have question about the difference of green, blue, gray, and brown hydrogen and what the Japanese government is intending to do. That again, the colors of hydrogen here. Yes, so this is one of these questions. Maybe Dr. Maruta, can you answer these together a bit? Green, blue, brown, hydrogen.
First of all, in our Japanese government didn't adapt the concept of the hydrogen coloring like blue, green, and gray. But if I use the European definition, definitely we're going to use a blue hydrogen, because first we're going to, as I explained about the hydrogen supply chain. One supply chain is developed by Kawasaki, the liquid hydrogen supply chain. They're going to make the hydrogen from the lignite coal, which means also of course, they're going to apply CCS technologies. But in European definition, this is a blue hydrogen. That's the way to go for the meantime by 2030. And in the future, 2050, we are not quite sure. The government is now making the policy toward 2050. Our roadmap is only for the 2030 in detail. But there's a possibility that we're going to have a green hydrogen in European definition using the renewable electricity. But definitely we need the first develop the electricity policy before hydrogen policy. So which is now we have a very huge discussion is going on this moment throughout the because we're going to have the basic high energy policy this summer. So short answer is yes. Well, we are first going to use the blue hydrogen, and in the future, of course, we're going to use maybe a mix of the green and the blue. But nobody knows about that portion. Also, I cannot guess. I cannot have the prediction about the portion of the green and blue.
Okay, thank you very much. We've got another few questions which circle around the Mirai. One was the price tag of the Mirai. You mentioned 5.7 million yen.
Yeah.
So this is 45,000 euro roughly with the subsidy. I can answer that already. And another question about the Mirai is from which material is the cell made for the new Mirai?
Material.
Yes.
And,
cell made for the new Mirai? I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, maybe it's and if he
I suppose it's a car cell.
Fuel cell, maybe about the fuel cell technology of the Mirai, probably.
Yeah. Well, maybe the person who asked this question could be a bit more specific here.
Okay.
Still
But I guess the question is about the Mirai's fuel cell stack. For the meantime, we do not have much information about the Mirai. Toyota just released the Mirai this December, and I saw some presentations from Toyota, and if I see their presentations, there's not much difference between the old stack and the new stack. Of course, new stack has a very high power density, and they change especially material like a separator. But I don't see any big change in the material side.
Okay. We have another question about the filling stations, the hydrogen filling stations. How much is the necessary investment for an H2 filling station in Japan, and are there any subsidies? So, do you have an idea more or less how much do you have to invest?
Okay, investment. So you mean that probably installation cost. And if I remember, in Europe, maybe like Austria and Germany, hydrogen station installation would be like €1 million almost. And in Japan side, at this moment, it will be about 3 million. About our government target has government try to reduce the cost, installation cost like 2 million, €2 million. But of course, we need some regulation review and new material development. But so in short, in Europe it's 1 million. Our side it's 3 million, and we try to reduce. We try to cut the number like 2 million by 2025.
So just everything is more expensive in Japan, or how?
Well, it's basically even some people already know that we have the strong, very strict regulation on the high pressure gases. That's a high pressure gas, high pressure safety gas law. So every station has to comply with the law, which means everything is expensive. So even for Iwatani hydrogen stations, which are actually using the Rinde technology, IC90 will be maybe in Europe it's 1 million or 1.5 million euro. In Japan, it's gonna be if it's comply. If we change the system in order to comply with the Japanese standard, which means now it's 3 or 4 million.
Okay.
So everything is due to the regulation.
Okay, we are practically, it's 1 hour is practically over, but I'd like to take 2 more questions here. One which is the gentleman who actually said exactly what his question was before. Exactly from which material is the cathode and anode made in the fuel cell stack? Do you know? What's the Mirai? Do you know?
Especially for new Mirai, I do not know. Short answer, I do not know. I have no information about this.
Okay, good. And here we've got another question. How do you see the technology of liquid storage and usage of the hydrogen in the vehicle? Currently, you have only a gaseous distribution.
Okay.
Yes.
That is true. We just started a discussion about the liquid hydrogen tank, onboard tank for the large truck and also the ship maritime applications. So I'm also working very closely with the government like METI and NIDO, and we definitely currently have a discussion about the possibility of the liquid hydrogen onboard tank and also refueling technology. So this year, maybe we're going to have the national program. We're going to have a national program on the R&D development of the technologies, as well as we think about a new standard for the liquid hydrogen refueling. Yes, that's a way to go. But we studied about the activities.
Recht herzlichen Dank, und ich hoffe, viele von Ihnen zumindest virtuell bei unserer Reise Anfang März hier in Japan und in Korea begrüßen zu dürfen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Wiedersehen.